So we are 17. Is there anybody who has any trouble with the connection or to connect with Menti? So go to the page menti.com and put the code there. If you have any troubles, you can send a message.
Yes.
So maybe we can repeat the procedure. Okay, so we have 20. All right, so is there anybody who needs more time? Can we move on? Is there anybody who needs more time? No? Okay, like stopped by 20. So I think we can actually move on to the next slide. Okay, very good. Let's see. So here is your first question. If PowerPoint would like to do it for me as well, it would be nice. Come on, PowerPoint, you can do it. You can do it. All right.
Meanwhile, we get more likes, so that's awesome. Very good.
Okay, very good. All right, let's see. Okay. Come on, PowerPoint. Okay, just a sec.
Yes.
I'm gonna find a way maybe to, okay, very good. So let's do it again. PowerPoint, come on.
Well, you know, nowadays with the pandemic, with the quarantine, technology it can, you know, we can have some little.
All right. I think here is your first question. Can you see it? So from which city are you connecting? All right, very good. So we have, okay, Buenos Aires, Mendoza, San Miguel de Tucumán, San Miguel de Tucumán. Very good. Many people from Mendoza, we can see that. Okay, very good. Catamarca, Rio Turbio. All right.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, very, very good. We already received 18 answers. Okay, very good. Catamarca is present as well. Very good. San Juan, great. Awesome. Santiago, here we go, Santiago, our neighbors. And Catamarca, of course, as well. San Juan, great. Okay, so 21 people are connected. Very good. 22. All right.
Nice. Everywhere. This is
okay. We have a nice group today. We are covering Argentina. We can say that. So from Rio Turbio to Santiago del Estero, like many provinces are presented. Great. Okay. So let's see the next question. If my presentation wants it. Jujuy is there as well. I can see it right now. Okay. Very good. So let's move to the next one. Maybe, you know, my PowerPoint needs just some time to react. It's a little bit overloaded because this presentation is really big with many images. Okay, let's see. PowerPoint.
Well, we have to train patience. You know, patience is a really good asset to have. So.
All right, here we go. Can you see it? All right, so this is our next question. And the question would be, which Harry Potter character represents your feelings today? Like, ready like Harry, excited as Voldemort, surprised as Hermione, or hungry like Ron? Okay, hungry like Ron. And okay, very good. Ron is in the first place right now with 5. So we have a very hungry.
I think I am Team Voldemort. I don't know you guys, but I am Team Voldemort and really? Super excited about this.
I'm a little bit surprised as Hermione because my PowerPoint is not working as good as I expected. But all right, it's, you know, technology is technology. But I'm ready to have this solution. What image have you found? With look at Harry's face.
That's right.
Oh my God, it's crazy. Okay, we have many Voldemorts as well.
Harry Potter fan, so.
Yeah. All right. Great. Okay. Okay, we have some Harry as well.
Luhan here in the chat.
Luhan says, "I think I'm Harry today."
Yes, exactly.
All right, very good. Let's move on a little bit. So I'm giving back the world to Daniela, and we are moving on to the real presentation, and let's talk about stuffs. Not only breaking the ice, but let's talk about some real stuff today. If my PowerPoint wants it, it's, you know, you always have to ask, okay, PowerPoint, could you please move on to the next slide? It would be so nice. Please, yes. PowerPoint. I don't know what's happening. I'm really inclusive with this PowerPoint and it's not working.
Do you want that we switch for this next one?
Yes, maybe if,
okay.
We can, no problem.
Perfect. Let's see if I have some luck today. Let's go. Can you see it? Is it on now?
Today PowerPoint has a life of its own. I can completely. Okay, so I'm stop sharing. Are you ready to share?
Yes, I am sharing already.
All right. Very good. Okay, I can see it.
You can see it?
Yes.
Perfect. So let's talk about what we're here for. Let's talk about debate. So debate is a term that you might have heard before many times, but it can be a little controversial. So the idea now is that we invite you guys to think, what is debating? What does come to your mind when we say debating? What kind of words, what kind of characters or people do you recall when we think about debate? You can take some time to think about it. We will be going back to Mentimeter, to know what you think. Here we want you to get the main idea. Get what you think about it. So let's go to the Mentimeter again, but this one will be with another code. Let's see. I think today PowerPoint is really lazy. It's causing us so much trouble. We're really sorry, guys, but you know, virtuality is like this. Now, perfect.
Okay,
so
here we
will go again to Menti, and we will put this code now, 39 18 23. And you will write the words that you recall when we talk about debate. What did you think about debate when I mentioned it? So we go to Menti here again, but now you put just another code, you know, a different one, which is 39 18 23.
Valentina writes, debate is sharing and presenting contrasting ideas and points of view. Very nice. Thank you so much, Valentina, for sharing.
Very good.
Yes.
Yeah, I like this definition.
Lionel writes, sharing ideas and be open to listen to other people. Thank
That's
you,
very
Lionel, for
important.
sharing. Also, Gabriel says, sharing thoughts and ideas about a specific topic. Very good. All the thumbs chat comments.
Nice, nice. So this is great because you know you have the like the main ideas. I like this. I like this.
I think it's very important what Lionel is saying. So it's not only about speaking; it's more about listening. I think it's one of the most important things you have to learn when you participate in a debate. Because if you don't listen actively, actually, it is going to be very difficult to answer and reason and stride back with your arguments. So it's something very, very important. It's a very nice idea. So not only sharing, but receiving as well.
Exactly. Exactly.
I like this so much. I like
now?
this so much, Daniel and Peter. Listen, Katiuska thinks the Biden might be a way of expressing oneself's view and at the same time being open about different views and critical enough about recognizing the actual truth. Very, very awesome. Thank you, Katiuska.
Very good.
That's just an amazing definition. Very good.
And Taida says we can also debate is to learn from other people while you can express what you know say.
Very good. I like that. The idea of expressing, right? The idea of expressing what you know or what you think and building upon that, building your arguments or building your idea around your thought and expressing it in such a way that the other person understands, right? Because when we speak, when we communicate, we want our receiver, the receiver of the message, to get what we say, to understand not only our words, but also our feelings and our thoughts when we express it. So that's a very, very nice idea.
All right, you got it. So have you ever participated in a debate where the other side was totally closed and couldn't actually accept anything you were saying? Because it's very difficult to participate in a debate like this. So when the other side is not open to new thoughts, so just repeating always the same arguments without listening to what you are saying. It's complicated.
Exactly. Yes. Yes, and I would like to build on what Peter is saying about debates. So it's a good question. Think about yourself in a debate. Do you do it often? Do you debate or express your feelings and your thoughts, hoping to get a reaction on the other side with your family or with your friends? Or have you ever seen a formal debate? These are all questions for you to start recalling the feelings that you get while debating or by watching a debate. So let's look at this image. What does it look like? I would like you to write in the chat. What feelings do you get by watching this image? what calls your eye? What calls your attention? How can you like analyze this picture, and what can you say about this debate? This is clearly a debate. There are 5 people, sorry, in the middle, and a lot of people watching and expecting, they have some expectations on what each character in the middle is going to say.
So they're saying that this is a formal debate. And Zaida says, which I really like, that it's very nice that they are sitting in a circle. So it is not, so everybody has the same position. Actually, nobody is in the highlights. So everybody has the same power and the same right to express him or herself.
Very good. I like that. Yes. It's a formal debate. Exactly. So here we have one kind of debate. As you can see, this is really formal, and I like it. Here they say it's an academic and professional context. Very good. It's the World Economic Forum. And it's clearly, as you can see here in the cameras and the TV, it's a serious thing. Yes. And this debates, usually you see like the people who is debating, they have prepared for it. They know what they're gonna talk about. They have, you know, their thoughts. They have an order. They're not improvising. However, they are flexible enough to be building on each other's comment. So you have to put your mindset in such a way that you are, you know, picking what the other person is saying and building upon that. Always with the background of your arguments or your own perspective. I remember in the previous question, someone talked about the real truth. And I would like to say something about the comment, because what is truth, right? What is the truth? In some things, the academic people has found like an agreement. Okay, I don't know, let's say, okay, this scientific thing, okay, this is true, it works like that. But some other things are more about your own perception and your own interpretation about things or facts. And that's really interesting to get it in mind for a debate. What am I going to say? A fact or an interpretation of something, a judgment? What is the other people saying? Is it a fact or an interpretation? So these are things that we need to take care of when we are debating.
Exactly, and preparing for a debate is not very easy. As Antonella says, people get ready for this. They study, they already know what to say, and they not only know what to say themselves, but what the others are going to say. Because if you prepare for a debate, you have to look at both sides, or if it has 2 sides, then both sides, but usually maybe it has 3 or 4 or 5 different point of views to analyze one problem. So you have to prepare for everything. Not only what you are going to say, but what are the others can say and how the others can argue, and prepare some answers, you know, get ready answers to just, you know, to strike back with your own argument. So it's not very easy to do. And it's also, you have to think about that while there are more people in the room debating, the organization has to be better, because it's very difficult to share. I don't know, here 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 people are around the table. I guess that one of them is a moderator who is asking specific questions. It's very important to respect time and to respect actually, and to answer the questions and not going somewhere. And it's difficult to generate a debate like an everyday debate, but it exists. So we are not participating usually in these kind of debates like everyday people, but we have other kinds of debates.
Exactly. And we have other kinds of debates, as Peter was saying. Let's see, like this one, right? I'm sure that this picture sounds much more familiar to you guys, because at least it sounds for me, you know, more familiar. Some friends, the fire in the middle, right? Friends having fun and listening. You see that they are all paying attention to one person, to one speaker. It might be this one or actually this one, I think. So this can also be a debate. What kind of debate do you think it is? It's clearly not like this one, as you can see from the first side. So what kind of debate do you see here? What do you think? Informal. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Casual debate, exactly. Friendly atmosphere, yes. Exactly. So you say that you debate every day. I'm sure that you say, okay, I'm for this, or I'm against this, or no, let's not go to this. Let's not watch this movie. Let's watch this one. Why? And then you start debating about it. You have your arguments, your arguments supporting the idea, and the other person might have the arguments why you shouldn't, or we shouldn't watch that movie. So we do it. Human beings, we need communication, we need words. It's part of our DNA, you know? So debating is part of us. It's part of expressing our feelings. Yes, probably they are more relaxed. Exactly. Yes. Mm-hmm. And that affects the way we talk. If we're nervous, it shows. If we're relaxed, it shows. If we are in a comfortable atmosphere or a place where we feel comfortable, maybe, you know, these people, they are kind of experts in their field. So probably they do feel comfortable in that position of debating. But maybe if they are debating about a scientific topic, I wouldn't feel comfortable because I don't know that much about the topic. So it's good to create this confidence, you know, zone, comfortable zone. And here, definitely, there are friends around the fire. And I really like this like analogy or this picture, because that's how people started talking around the fire. I'm sure we will talk about this later on, right, Peter? Perfect.
Of course, so that's very important.
Keep this image in mind.
Exactly.
I like this comment here. The speaker doesn't have time to prepare. It's spontaneous. I like it. Because usually when we're with friends or family, we're not thinking, okay, we're gonna talk about this topic today, so let's write down. I'm like arguments for this topic, arguments against this topic, No.
But that's why it's very, very nice to be prepared for any topics. So, you know, sometimes you have to defend. So it's important to have your own point of view about everything. So that's why it's important to read. That's why it's important to watch videos, to listen to experts talking about different topics. But it's also very important to listen to both sides. So what I'm trying to say, if you feel like I'm taking this side of this topic and you only listen to one side arguments, then it is actually not a good strategy. You have to listen to both sides in order to, you know, learn more. And this is the most important learning process. Listening to both sides. Again, I'm repeating myself.
Very good, but it's an important idea. Here we have a question. Antonella asks if practice and having experience is part of being an expert in debating. I think, you know, having experience and practicing is good for everything you want to achieve. So yes, debating is an art, the art of debate. And for the arts, like, you know, I'm a dancer, Peter is also a dancer, so we can assure that practice and experience give you the main tools. So yeah, and like to end up a little bit this topic, actually friends and family debates are awesome moments to practice and to experience a debate. And then you will see that you quickly start getting better on finding pros and cons through one topic. And another way of also, you know, practicing this is one by one with a friend, with your parents, with your brothers, your sisters, siblings. It's good to put yourself on these situations and to say, okay, let's try something new, you know, let's practice debate. Hey, what do you think about this topic, my friend? And see what happens. And then you will see that you will get better at it. It's an art, it's a practice, it's training. So great question, yes.
And there is something very important to mention as well. What Carolina is saying, that in these kind of debates, some participants don't really take part. And this is true, actually. So when we are like 8 people having a conversation, usually when it's about a debate, so we are debating on a topic and we have 2 or 3 slides, 2 or 3 people are taking the leadership and they are expressing themselves, and the others are actually, it's natural. It is called group dynamics, actually. So when you have something to talk about or an exercise to do with a larger group, then somebody is going to take the leadership. It's obligatory, and somebody are gonna feeling like, you know, excluded a little bit from this debate or exercise. It's always like this. So that's why it's so important. And this is the responsibility of the leaders who are taking the leadership to ask the other's opinion as well. So not only taking the word, because maybe somebody is more introverted, but that person has a really, really good argument. And that's why it's important to pass the word to other, maybe a little bit more shy participants, because it can really help them to participate, and it can help to the debate to see a totally different point of view, maybe not as passionate as you have as a leader, because it's usually passionate people with passion are taking this leadership because they would like to express themselves. But it's very important to listen to, you know, people who are a little bit more calm down and can look at the topic from another point of view.
Exactly. So I think we've gathered really good definitions from you guys at the beginning. We've seen 3 different ways and situations where we debate. So let's go to a concrete definition. Even though there are a lot of definitions about debate, and it's a really personal thing, we wanted to share with you this one, where we see a debate as a discussion and as a process. Debating is a process where 2 or more people express their points of view. Usually they are opposite points of view. You know, someone is against and someone is for a topic, and they do this in order to expose their views. They can have many other aims, but this is we like this definition because it's quite clear and general. So when we debate, it's really important to develop your own style. That's why practice is good, because you will find what kind of debate person you are. Are you always like a devil's lawyer, even though you are for the topic, you agree with the topic? Would you be taking a role as a not like a person who doesn't agree with that? That's a decision. Or are you going to be supporting your arguments with data and with evidence? Or are you going to be the one supporting your data with your stories and with your anecdotes. So it's important when we debate to develop also our own style, and to as Peter was saying before, to read, to have an opinion about things. And if you don't know, which can happen, I mean, it happens to everybody. If I don't know something, what do? I go and read, and go and watch a video, and go and inform myself from both sides in order to develop my own point of view. And yes, debate is an art, and we need to practice it as such. And the best tip or the best recommendation we can do is to push yourself out of the comfort zone and do it periodically, every day, a little bit, to
Exactly.
to strengthen your abilities. You have debate abilities. We all have it, just for the sake of being human beings. We need it for our life. So
I
go
think
there and debate.
exactly. I think it's very important. So I think debating is talking about relevant topics with your friend and with your family or with other people. So this is how you can practice it. So find some topics which can actually divide you very easily, because there are moral questions or something like that. But talk about some relevant topics with people. But in order to do that, you have to sharpen yourself, sharpen your brain, educate yourself in these topics, watch movies on the topic, listen to podcasts and read books. So that's something essential. That's why it's so difficult to debate, and people usually don't like it, because when you participate in a debate and you feel like, oh, I'm not prepared, then you're going to feel like a little bit stupid. But maybe after that debate, you're going to go and look for some information, because that's essential. So yeah,
Exactly.
definitely.
And to round up this, I will say something that we said before. At the beginning, it's great to listen. I mean, we always need to listen. But when we don't feel comfortable about something, the best thing you can do is to stay, shut and listen to what people are saying. Build your own arguments, learn about the topic, form a viewpoint, and when you feel ready, go and do it. Because there's not such a thing like knowledge that gives us a better and a really solid ground where to stand on. So, having said this,
I'm already sharing my screen, so we can change.
Perfect. Yes.
Very good.
We will go to another topic. So, Peter, yes, all yours.
All right. So, what is public speaking? So public speaking is our next topic. It's something similar to debate, but it's different. So what is the difference? What is the difference between public speaking and debate? What do you think? You can write down your opinion on the chat. So what is the difference? The real difference between public speaking and debating? Is there a difference? There is a main speaker. Very good. Okay, so
exactly.
That's very important. Very good. There's only one person, or maybe more, but this is a one-side communication usually. Yeah, you are not expecting answers. That's true. That's true.
You're not expecting verbal answers. We will talk about this. We're
Exactly.
not expecting, a counterpart saying something. We will be expecting some things of the audience, but not them to talk. Exactly.
Very good. So we can say that this is a kind of one-side communication, because you get the microphone. So your public doesn't have any microphones there. So actually you go on stage in order to share your thoughts. Very good. Another question: public speaking is a part of debate in order to exchange ideas. You need to let others understand you. Yes, I would change it a little bit. I think debate is a special kind of public speaking. I
I
would say
think
that. I would say that. Yes. So it's a special kind. So debate is a special kind of public speaking. Because you speak to a public while you're debating as well. So you are concentrating on your public during the debate as well, not only on your debating partners. Of course, you are trying to convince the public again, but no through. So here we don't listen to the other side. So we have just the one part communication, and that's very important. Usually people who are on the same side in one topic can go on stage and give a speech. This is public speaking. And when the other side is represented in the other side of the page on the stage and they start to debate, that's a debate. So actually, yeah, very good. The main idea is to express your own idea more than discussing it with others. Exactly. You defend it without an interface. Very good. Yeah, that's completely true. Very good definition. That's 100 points. Okay, very good. Yes, exactly. So you are sharing an idea and you are trying to create an impact, an important impact on public. I think this is the most important part. And so idea and impact. So in order to go on stage, you need an idea, and you usually need an original idea. While you are debating, you don't really need an original idea. It's better if you have some original ideas, but you can read books and work with other people's idea. Don't worry, you can do that. But when you go on stage, you go there because you have something to share, which maybe people haven't heard about it before, or it's a new idea. It's an idea which can change people's life. Okay, so it has an impact on people. But yeah, exactly. So when you have something to share, you go on stage and you share it, because ideas worth spreading, as we know from TEDx. Very good. So one small question here for everyone, so you can answer it with yes or no. Have you ever given a speech, a public speech, or a speech to a public? Have you ever given a speech in your life? So yes. Oh my God.
Hey, nice. Many yeses.
Okay, we have public speakers here.
Yeah.
Yes, and it was really challenging. No. Okay, Leona said no. So we have one no, but many yeses. Oh my God, many yeses. Okay, that's cool.
And some no's. Perfect.
Okay, very good.
Yes.
No, okay, we have some no's as well. Okay, then if you put yes, how did you feel when before and okay, how did you feel before your speech? We had one description that it was really challenging. So so you were okay, like, okay, let's go on stage and do it, like easily, or you were a little bit nervous maybe? So how can you describe your feelings about this? Extremely nervous. I couldn't sleep the night before.
Oh, I know that feeling. I know that feeling. Yes.
Really nervous, because it was the first time. Quite nervous, but afterwards confidence starts appearing. Very good. Yeah, you need. Yeah, definitely. You don't have other choice. So you go on stage and you need some confidence. But this is really something where you can overgrow yourself. Before kind of terrified, but after that I was so sorry Dani, read it. Okay. I couldn't hear you.
No, I was reading Rocio's. It was very challenging. I like public speaking, but in that moment I was so nervous. Exactly. It's a little bit tricky, you know. You might be really good at it, but in the moment that you're alone with the microphone in the middle of the stage, well, you know, feelings start boiling inside.
I felt really confident until right before stepping up. Then I got really scared, but after I started, everything felt better, exactly. So it has a very interesting psychology, actually. We are not going to talk about the psychological background of why do you feel like this and how you can work on it, because it's a very specific topic. But let's move on because we don't have time. Like, we could speak about this topic for years, and it would be very nice to share all your feelings. But today we have to concentrate on some specific topics. So we are moving on. I'm going to share with you some videos. So let's go to the next. Okay, so let's watch this video, not the whole video, but I think you can recognize who is going to speak. Just the first part of the speech. Let's listen to it.
I have the pleasure to present to you Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. Five score years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal.
So this is it. This is the part I wanted to show you. Do you know the title of this speech? What is the title of this speech? You could hear it, actually. I have a dream. I have a dream. You know it. Very good. So it's a world famous speech. Very good. Here is a small anecdote for this speech. So Martin Luther King was preparing for this speech for 2 months. For 2 months. And 5 minutes before he went on stage, he changed just 3 words in his presentation. And it was, I have a dream. Okay, 4 with A. So 4 words. And it's so, and this is how we call this speech today. It's really nice to watch it, the whole speech from the beginning to its end, and think about it and analyze it. It would be nice to analyze it a little bit, but we don't have time for that. But this is a special type of speech, and it is called the spark lines, actually, what he's using. It's a special storytelling and speech technique he's using unconsciously, but it's something really, 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 really nice. So this is public speaking. This is one kind of public speaking. Let's move on to the next video. They say, it gives me goosebumps every time I hear it. Yeah, exactly. And especially, and it's still very, very you know, it is reflecting to in 2020, it is reflecting, it is still very important. And it's reflecting to our days today. So it's crazy if you think about it.
It's really powerful. It gets to your deepest part. It gets to you. And he is just using his voice, you know, and some words. And some other things that we will soon see, because he has a whole, you know, tool set.
Exactly.
Real smart guy, definitely.
Definitely. I can go along with that. So, yes. So
Let's go.
He had an idea and he went on stage and he expressed it. And it started a change, which is incredible. So, you know about this. So let's move on to the next video. Let's see what is the difference.
And pay attention to the details. Practice your active listening and active watching as well, like observation.
Exactly.
These are two really important abilities and skills to have. Active listening and active observation. You know, it's more than just watching.
Exactly. Okay. Very good. Now on to the next one. Here we go. No, don't go back. Don't go back. Okay, here we go. So we are going to watch the first part of this presentation. Maybe you've seen it before. This is one of my favorite ones.
Yes.
He's a genius.
We'll learn something here as well.
With Hungarian subtitles?
Yes.
So in college, I was a government major, which means I had to write a lot of papers.
Okay.
Now, when a normal student writes a paper, they might spread the work out a little like this.
A little bit better.
So, you know.
Okay. English subtitles, not Spanish ones. Sorry.
And not Hungarian either.
I was a government major, which means I had to write a lot of papers. Now, when a normal student writes a paper, they might spread the work out a little like this. So, you know. You get started maybe a little slowly, but you get enough done in the first week that with some heavier days later on, everything gets done and things stay civil. And I would want to do that like that. That would be the plan. I would have it all ready to go, but then actually the paper would come along, and then I would kind of do this. And that would happen every single paper. But then came my 90-page senior thesis, a paper you're supposed to spend a year on. And I knew for a paper like that, my normal workflow was not an option. It was way too big a project. So I planned things out, and I decided it kind of had to go something like this. This is how the year would go. So I'd start off light, and I'd bump it up in the middle months. And then at the end, I would kick it up into high gear. It's just like a little staircase. How hard could it be to just walk up the stairs? No big deal, right? But then, funniest thing happened. Those first few months, they came and went, and I couldn't quite do stuff. So we had an awesome new revised plan. But then those middle months actually went by, and I didn't really write words. And so we were here. And then 2 months turned into 1 month, which turned into 2 weeks. And one day I woke up with 3 days until the deadline, still not having written a word. And so I did the only thing I could. I wrote 90 pages over 72 hours, pulling not 1 but 2 all-nighters. Humans are not supposed to pull 2 all-nighters. Sprinted across campus, dove in slow motion, and got it in just at the deadline. I thought that was the end of everything. But a week later, I get a call, and it's the school. And they say, "Is this Tim Urban?" And I say, "Yeah." And they say, "We need to talk about your thesis." And I say, "Okay." And they say, "It's the best one we've ever seen." That did not happen.
So this is what you get. for now, because we don't have time to watch the whole video. You can do it at home, of course. So what is the difference between this video and the first one? Is there any difference here? What do you think? So you can write down your opinion about it. Aha, it's humoristic, so it's humorous. Very good, very good.
Funny, yes.
It's funny.
Definitely, it's not as serious, right? The topics also are different, so that's true. Oh, I like this one. The way he addressed the public. That's really interesting.
Very good, less formal, has contact with the audience. Very good. Yes, definitely. It's funny, and he also tells his personal story. So the context is completely different. So we are not in a demonstration right now. We are not talking about 100 years of slavery and how to put an end to that slavery, but insignificant topic comparing with that, which is procrastination. So the topic is different, the public is different, the historical context is different. The other speech was completely political and social. This one is more like a stand-up comedy. But of course, in the other part of the speech, he's talking about some scientific stuff, but in a really understandable and clear way. So he's converting a difficult topic to talk about into a very simple one. So everybody can understand it. It's popular. While in the first speech, actually, Martin Luther King tried to change history. So, of course, the objective of the speeches were completely different as well. Here, he is just explaining a topic everybody is interested in, but it's not changing history. Maybe it's changing people, but like individuals, if they take this. But the first speech of Martin Luther King was to everybody in the world, not just in America, mostly in the United States, of course, but for everybody. And it was a political context. So very good. Let's see the last one. It's funny, Valentina says, it's funny, and he also tells his personal story. The reaction that the speakers expect from the public is different. Yes, very good. All right.
Very good. Yes, we will get there. I like it, Valentina. We will get there. We're approaching.
All right, very good. So let's go for the last video. It's another kind of...
All of you thought this guy is amazing.
Okay. Good. Here we go. Let's watch this.
Our third finalist is Emily Johnston from the School of Pharmacy and Medical Sciences. Her presentation title is Mosquito Research, Saving Lives with Pantyhose and Paper Clips.
Oh, sorry, the video is stopping itself.
I came to Australia to study the deadliest animal in the world. Now, there may be some Australian audience members thinking, Struth, science has finally recognized the importance of the drop bears. But I'm not studying drop bears, because around the world, by transmitting diseases like malaria and dengue fever, mosquitoes kill more than 1 million people every year, making them the deadliest animal on the planet. Now, in Australia, the most common mosquito-borne disease is Ross River virus, and it occurs at high rates in some areas, but not others. My question is why? What is it about certain areas that makes them breed disease? If we can understand the environmental factors that contribute to disease transmission, then we can alter the environment or target our control efforts to prevent human infections. But to answer that question, I had to find out where the infected mosquitoes were in South Australia. And traditionally, testing mosquitoes for virus has always been difficult. So I used a new technique. It takes these cards, which are embedded with virus-preserving chemicals, and coats them in honey. Mosquitoes will come to feed on the honey, and in the process, spit virus onto the card where it can later be detected. Now, no one had ever used this technique in a broad-scale virus survey before, so I had to adapt it. I developed new traps and set them at over 100 field sites across South Australia. And I captured over 20,000 hungry mosquitoes and let them feed on the card for a week before testing the cards for virus. Now, you may not think that these traps look very impressive, but science doesn't have to be beautiful. It has to be effective. And these traps are proving to be our most sensitive method of detecting infected mosquitoes. I found 3 types of infection: Ross River virus, Barmah Forest virus, and Stratford virus, which has never before been found in South Australia. I now have the virus data I need to conduct my analysis, and I'm collecting publicly available data about the environment surrounding my traps, like the density of human housing, the biodiversity of mammals, and the ratio of green space to buildings, to see if any of those environmental factors can link these virus hotspots that I've shown here. But the most exciting part of my research so far has been the success of this method. Public health officials in Victoria, Queensland, and Western Australia have been in contact with us about implementing this technique for their surveillance next year. And I developed these traps on a tight budget. I used recycled milk cartons, pantyhose, and paper clips to make the traps. Each trap costs less than $1 and can be reused for the whole season. That was important to me because the majority of mosquito-borne disease risk happens in economically impoverished countries. In India, for example, where about 1/4 of the population lives on $1 a day, there are 33 million cases of dengue infection every year. With my low-budget virus surveillance and spatial analysis method, I can help any country, regardless of resources, find out where their deadliest animals occur, why they're there, and how we can stop them from infecting humans. Thanks.
All right. So a very short presentation. Now my question is, what is okay, here we have a comment. Let's do this before I ask you the question. It's not inspirational, but academic. Very good. Third, it's addressed somewhat humorously. Very good. It's an academic topic, but brought to a regular audience. It lowers the complexity of the theme. That's very important what you're saying. So the way how you're addressing your message depends on your public. So actually, if we were talking about listening in debates, it's also very important to listen before you give a best presentation and listen the needs of your audience. And this is what Daniela is going to talk about in the next few minutes. So that's very, very, very good. It's an academic atmosphere. I don't like that she speaks so fast. Yes. It gives me the idea that she is nervous. Yeah, we can see that she's a little bit nervous. That's true. But at the same time, her voice is transmitting confidence. So it's interesting. Maybe she hadn't a lot of time and she speaks quickly. Yes, that's also true. So it's just a 3-minute talk. Okay, but now my question for you is, what is the common thing in these 3 speeches? And I'm looking for just one specific word, which is going to be the most important, connection between all and among all public speeches or talks. So what is the ingredient which is in common in all these 3 speeches? These are different, but there is one thing which connects them. And we were talking about it before.
Risk. You need to take risks in here.
Yeah, very good. The way they show confidence, the speakers have knowledge about what they talk about.
Nice, nice.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, you can
Let's go.
you can write
Let's
down your
review.
opinion, but let's move to the next part. Are you sharing screen, or should I just move on, Dani?
Oh, I can share. Perfect.
Okay.
Yes. Should I go with already with the next one?
Yes, we can move on.
Perfect.
They are trying to convince. Okay, that's also very good.
I'm sharing already. Let me
Very
know if you
good.
see it.
Same. All right. Okay, very good. So here's the definition for you, but I don't really like definitions. So I leave it for you here. We can talk about it. Public speaking, also called oratory or oration, so you can use these versions as well, is the process or act of performing a speech to a live audience. And this is something in common. So there's a live audience, but maybe this pandemic changed it a little bit. So now you can give a public speech in front of a Zoom online audience as well, without any problem. And maybe YouTube videos are also like public speeches. But of course, the important thing here is live. So you are speaking live, not you are not sharing an edited video. So I think it's important. Public speaking is commonly understood as formal, face-to-face speaking of a single person to a group. And that's why maybe TED is using the word talk and not speech, because the talks are, you know, more for informals and not so formals. And we can go to the next topic, to the next.
Yes, one little thing before that is that many people say that one difference between debate and public speaking is the feedback. Many people might say in debate we have feedback and in public speaking we don't. We're sorry, guys. We will reveal to you now that that's not true, at least from our point of view. We said before that we can have a lot of different definitions, we can have a lot of different approaches, but we believe, and this is really, really important, because here you make the difference with your speeches, is that when you are public speaking, when you are alone in a stage, or now here I'm alone in my living room talking to a computer, we do need the feedback from our public, from our audience. And it was really funny because Peter now was mentioning about this virtual change, right? And that changes us as well as speakers. The first time I had to give a speech, it was a presentation about a project. And the first time I had to do it through the computer, I was like really nervous. I felt I didn't know a thing about speaking in a public. And then I realized, I was thinking about it for a long time, and I realized it was because I couldn't see reactions. I couldn't see the reaction of the people, and I was expecting to do so. So feedback with your public is important when you are public speaking with one person, with two, with three, with four, in a debate, in a classroom, with friends. The feedback is really necessary because it builds on your speech.
Exactly, and the psychology behind it is very interesting, that you are afraid of your public, so that's why you are so nervous. But when you go on stage, that public is gonna give you strength to do your presentation. So it's so the biggest fear is gonna be your biggest friend on stage. It's very difficult to speak without a public, and it's an amazing feeling to do it with the public. So it's something so the audience is very important.
Yes.
Very good.
Energy.
Exactly. It gives you energy and everything. So it fills you up with emotions.
It's beautiful. And I'm gonna rebuild on something that you said before. And to create this, we need preparation. to create this feeling, to create this expectation, this feedback. It doesn't matter if you're debating or if you're like public speaking, doing public speaking, you need preparation for this. And Peter, would you make the honors, please?
Of course. Yeah, so you can see, so that girl had 3 minutes to talk, okay? So let's put it in a context. Woodrow Wilson said, so ex-president of the United States, if I am to speak 10 minutes, I need a week for preparation. If 15 minutes, 3 days. If half an hour, 2 days. If an hour, I am ready now. So while you have less time to speech, it's more difficult to prepare a speech, because then every word you are saying, it has, you know, has to be significant, and that's very important. So every word you put down has to actually push your ideas, or push you until you get the idea. Okay, so that's very, very important. So actually, I think you're going to have to prepare speeches in this workshop, and in the second part of Aprendiendo a Debatir, when you put in practice everything we were talking about, and you have just 5 to 8 minutes to speak. So it is not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy thing to do. So we are going to give you some tools in order to be able to do and achieve this goal. Very good.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of these tools that we're talking about is the following one. By now we have seen oratory and public speaking and debate separately. We hope that you have understood what they are about. And now we will switch the mode a little bit to think about the preparation. So how would you start to prepare for your speech? We will give you now 1 minute to write in the chat some comments. We will be reading them. What do you bear in mind? What do you consider when you're preparing for your speech? What do you think?
So imagine that we give you the opportunity to give a TED talk, and you have 1 month to prepare for it. How would you start it? How would you start to prepare it? So I call you, hey Pedro, hey Majo, hey Lorena, hey Noelia. I would like to invite you to give a speech, and you can choose a topic. How would you start the preparation? What is the first thing you would think about? Look for a speech which can be interesting for the audience. Okay.
Good. Interesting for the audience. Let's keep some keywords. Audience. Very good.
I think that the first thing I would think about is the main idea that I want to express. Excellent.
Very good. So we here have the 2 main keywords.
Exactly.
Audience.
Very good.
And idea. Very good. So let's see. Let's keep. Very good. I cannot read the chat, but let's move forward.
I'm reading the chat. So look for a purpose to communicate. So a purpose, that's very important. So and this is very good, very good. So a purpose. I think this is one thing in common of all 3 speeches we've seen today, that they had a purpose. That's very important. The environment where it will take place, it's also very good. So are you in a demonstration? Is it going to be a TED talk or scientific conference? Or am I going to talk about my project to, I don't know, 5-year-old children? So it's very important to think about that. Very good. Imagine ourselves in front of the public, how we may start and how the audience would react. Okay, that's a good practice. I think it's not the first thing to do maybe, but later it is going to be a very important step. Brainstorming.
Very
Yes.
good,
I
nice.
love that. I love that idea. Brainstorming. I hope you know this expression, but I'm sure you know it. You have to like the topic you are discussing, be passionate about it. Okay, very good.
So here we have the really main elements. We said purpose, idea, audience, passion, organization. Very good, structure. So in this second part, we will focus on this. So let's think about public speaking, debate, or just any situation where you find yourself talking in front of an audience like a tour. It's a tour through a city. What happens when you are on tour? You have the guide and you have the people following you. They expect something from the guide. They expect the guide to take them around the city, show them the main places, tell them historical background about the city, the places that they see, tell some curious data. For example, this tree that you can see over here has been here for the last 150 years. They expect the guide to connect you with the city. They expect him or her to be the link. They also want to be inspired by the person and say, oh my gosh, I love this city. I love this place. These details that you're showing me, I wouldn't have been able to know them if it weren't for you. So guys, public speaking and debate is the same. We are the guides, and we need to take our public and our audience through our ideas. We have the purpose, and we need to show them every part of the purpose. Like the guide shows the city, you know? Here we have this castle, and it means this. The history behind it is this. Here we have this tree. Can you notice the color of the leaves? It's something that maybe you don't pay attention to, but the guide spots it. We as public speakers need to do the same. Our audience expect us to enlighten them with the idea we have, with the purpose that we want to show them. And we as public speakers, let's say, we need to be responsible for the messages that we show to them. And we need to choose the words, we need to choose the context, we need to build the atmosphere, and we need to play as if we are the guides, the tour guides. Because our aim as speakers is to bring new information, to inspire the people around us, and to guide them through our idea, through our thought. So this is I find the really powerful analogy, because we are tour guides. When you go out and you speak to the people, you're showing them what you want them to see. You're showing them new paths, new parts of an idea that might be common and that might be, known, but you open their eyes in a way. So think of yourselves about like tour guides that need to enlighten the people that is visiting the city for the first time.
Exactly. And imagine a tour where there are two tour guides. So one who loves the city and the other one who hates the city. And then they debate. So two experts on the city, one who loves the city and one who hates the city. And this is a debate. And you as a public, you're gonna listen to them and decide, okay, it's very interesting to see the other part as well. But actually, as a public speaker, can be both guides, and you can show the good part of something and the bad part of something as well. So actually, you have to take care, and it's very important what Danila says. that you are responsible for the message. So I think you have to decide, would you like to manipulate people emotionally? Because sometimes tour guides do this, you know, when you go to the city and they go in paths where the city is the most amazing one, but maybe they don't enter to little streets where, you know, very bad things are happening every day. So they are showing, this is a marketing tool. It can be a marketing tool as well. I think, and this is an important thing to do and to think about, show everything. So just don't be a marketing specialist when you are preparing a speech. Try to show the good side and the bad side as well. Of course, it depends on the topic. But that's why we organize debates, you know, because we have one side and maybe this one side is so passionate about a topic, he loves it, but the other part is, no, I completely reject that idea. And this is the nice thing when you have both sides and listening to both sides of the conversation. So debating is very difficult. That's why it's very difficult, because you have to be very, very smart. And you just can't manipulate your public because you have the answer next to you. And if you are manipulating, they are destroying you. So take care of it.
That's why
Okay.
That's why we have two sides now. We have the side of the audience. We as audience, we need to always gather information everywhere, get knowledge. We as speakers, we also need to be transparent, to be conscious that every word we say has an impact, matters. So how are you going to use this power? So let's move forward. I leave you thinking with this really deep question. And let's go to think about the structure a little bit and the main element that we have for public speaking or for debate.
Actually, you mentioned it before, so you're just great. There's one message. It's important to find a way to organize what you want to say according to the public and context. That's very important. We are going to talk about this. So
Yes.
when I say, when we ask a question, how would you start to prepare your talk? Of course, I would recommend you to first to choose a topic you like. Or if the topic is given to you, then it's all right. Then you don't have many, you know,
Options.
opportunities and chances. So
Yes.
Exactly. But the important thing is to find the idea. So the idea is a fantastic thing. Imagine that you have just 5 to 8 minutes to speak. You can't speak about several ideas. You can speak about one specific idea. So you have to imagine the speech as you can see in the picture. So the idea is your target. You're targeting your idea, and your speech is the arrow. And everything you say has to be somehow connected to your idea. Everything you say, because if it is not, then your speech is not good. You can't, it is like the difference between writing a novel, which can be as long as you wish, or a short story. In a short story, think about Borges, think about Cortázar, think about, I don't know, Oscar Wilde or whatever. But in a short story, you can't express many ideas. Everything what you write down has to somehow be connected to the main idea. So this is an art. This is an art. This is creating content, and it's not easy to do it. But okay, here we go with some ideas. So the idea first. If you have the idea, then you can build construct your speech and build your speech.
Perfect. So now we'll talk about, okay, once we have the idea, What should we do? First of all, we should think about the context. You were mentioning this before, so congratulations, Guy. Very good. Because your context is really important. You're not going to talk the same way to teenagers, to kids that are 5 years old, to adults. You will not talk in the same way if you are presenting your PhD thesis. You're not going to talk the same way if you are giving a political speech, or if you're just telling, an anecdote with your friends. So set yourself in the speaker mode, turn the speaker mode on, and think about the audience and the place. You were saying before, okay, Martin Luther King was speaking in a really powerful way, in a really, meticulous way, because his topic and his content was important. He was not talking about procrastination. He was talking about slavery. He was talking about rights, about freedom. On the other hand, the academic girl talking about mosquitoes, she was not giving a presentation for teenagers. She was using really complex vocabulary. She was making analogies with the deadliest animal. She was using a lot of resources that were complex, that were hard to follow. But she was sure about it because she knew that she was presenting her thesis in an academic background with people that would understand her. So you need to focus and think really well about your audience and the place. Where are you speaking or debating? With whom? Who is your audience? Then on the other hand, we have this really important thing that is our main aim, which is to earn and keep the attention of the audience. We were talking about feedback, about how you you get the energy from the people, from your audience, and you use it in a positive way to boost your message, to boost your speech. So for this, creativity, imagination, and creativity and imagination, basically, they are your best allies. You need to take risks. If you want to cause a big impact, well, you need to take a big risk. In order to achieve more, you need to give more from yourself. So you need to think big about the ideas, about how you're going to present your speech, how you're going to grab the audience attention and keep it, because that's the hard thing, to keep the attention through 15 minutes, through 2 hours. How are you going to do that?
That's crazy.
So, should we go into this, or shall we?
Actually, I don't know if you've ever seen this video. I think we can skip this video now. You can watch it at home.
Yes. Maybe actually, you can give a brief.
Yes, I'm leaving for you the link right here, so you can go and look at it. So one of the ways you can do it, and maybe the best way you do it, and this is the most popular way right now to do it, is storytelling. So storytelling is very, very powerful. And now I ask you to think about the image around the fire, the campfire, and the friends talking to themselves. Usually we react and we connect ourselves with our environment through different stories. So as you can see in many TED Talks, and like most of all are starting with a story, with a personal story. Do you remember the second video we saw about the procrastinator and the thesis, procrastination and the thesis? So he's telling his own story. And this is something very powerful you can do. Actually, if you have an idea, choose a story from maybe a story what happened to you, maybe a story to happen to someone else, you can adapt stories if you would like to put everything in context so people can connect through the story with the topic. And that's something really, really important, because if you think about that, you are the tour guide, then you have to go where your audience is. So you go there, you meet with them, you start talking, like a little small talk there, you tell a story, and then through the story, they can get to know yourself and the topic at the same time. So maybe this is one of the best ways to introduce ideas. So storytelling is one of the most powerful tools you have in your hand. So use it. Of course, there are many, many ways to tell a story, and this video is actually one of them. It is talking about the hero journey, or the monomyth. This is another name for it. And this is maybe the most natural way we tell a story, that we have a hero, and that hero has a motivation to make a change in his life, and he leaves his comfort zone and he discovers a completely unfamiliar world, and then the hero comes back and changes his comfort zone because he learned new skills, because he got special recognition or something like that. And if you think about it, Hollywood uses this type of storytelling all the time, so you can recognize this pattern behind the stories. And of course, you have to plan the structure, and this is something very, very important.
Yes. And so how are you going to introduce yourself? Counts. That's what Peter is saying about storytelling, is a great tool for that. And so when you start speaking, you set the audience in the same page as you are. So first of all, we recommend you to introduce yourself in a creative way. And the topic, it can be storytelling, it can be a really provocative question, or even some data, some scientific number connected to the topic. For example, the girl of the mosquitoes, she started saying something like, do you know which is the deadliest animal? And then she reveals that she's talking about mosquitoes. She's not talking about lions or bears or no. So once you have introduced yourself on the topic, set the audience in the same page as you are. So give arguments, definitions if needed. That's why it's important to know your audience. So you know until which limit you have to push, which is the limit, which is the vocabulary limit, which are the terms that you should avoid. So then you expose your main arguments to say why your topic is relevant. Otherwise, people will hard to follow. Will find it hard to follow. This is really important actually. For the conclusion, for when you are ending your presentation, you need to take time to make a brilliant ending. What do I mean? I mean that you should ask yourself, what message do you want to pass on? And what impact do you want your speech to have? For example, the girl with the mosquito, let's build on that one because it's really clear. She says this, she makes this question, and then she reveals the answer, which is surprisingly different to what everybody has expected. That is really powerful. That not only earns but keeps the attention and make you wonder and reflect on what she said before. So your conclusion needs to be memorable. It needs to have mystery. And this connects with the impact that you want your speech to have. And I like saying that we as speakers, we need to be responsible and conscious of our message. So that means that we need to end in such a way that you have planted the seed on your mind, on their mind, the seed of something good, some thoughts or questions that will grow through the person's life. This is really important. This is where we have to be careful, and we have to use this tool in the most human and empathic way, because we know that words count, words have an impact, words make a difference. So we need to take this responsibility seriously. Call for action to do something good, to think, to reflect upon slavery, for example, to reflect upon how you should prepare for your thesis, not the day before, but some time before. And you should always bear in mind your beginning and your end in your speech, because they have the impact. And this is a really powerful tool. So we need to be conscious. We need to pay attention. What is our message? What is our idea? What is our purpose? And then remember that whatever you say will stay in everybody's minds.
Exactly. And there are two things I would like to add to this. The first thing is that actually people will remember the first 2 minutes and the last 2 minutes of your presentation. So imagine that you are in a TED conference, for example. In a TED conference, in 2 days, you listen to, I don't know, 30 or 40 speeches in one day. It's a lot. It's a lot of information. So it's something very important that you have to put down the idea in a very simple way. And your presentation is actually just helping people to remember that one phrase you are, or two sentences you're saying when you end your presentation. So this is something important to keep in mind. So it's an important objective for you to keep in mind that I would like people to remember my message, because if they don't remember, then it wasn't impactful. So taking a risk here is very important. So while you are presenting weird presentation, people are, oh, that's interesting. Oh my God, well, what is he talking about? Well, let's pay attention. But if you are not using, you're just giving a presentation, maybe it is going to be one of the 40 presentations we heard that day. And this is not the idea when you give a presentation. So that's something very, very important. And the other thing I wanted to talk about is, it was very important, and I was talking about the first thing, and the second thing just gone out of my head. Sorry.
Well, yeah,
we are going to come back to this because. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
But this thing. So the first, how you start and how you end. I think it's very important.
Yes. I'm sorry, I had some unstable connection, but what we would like you. We are arriving to the end now, as you can see. I will. Wait. Hold on a second. So I would like you now. Wait. Here. I know this was really, yes. Now I cannot do two things at the same time. Sometimes I am able. But since we are now over 2 hours, I know that this is a lot of information, and you guys did a great job. What do you think, Peter? Should we go through this or we go back?
No, it's all right. We were talking about almost everything.
Yes, perfect.
If you want, you can. Sorry, if you want, you can explain slide before that one from
Okay.
the equilibrium. If you want, we have some minutes. Don't worry.
Okay, that's perfect.
Great. So we will perfect. So then we will wait on this until a little bit. We would like you to think about what have you learned today. But before that, keep the question in mind. We will give you an extra concept, let's say. Let's go back. Should we do the Menti or we just go through here?
No,
right?
no, it's all right. We can ask the question actually. We can ask the question, and they can reflect on it. So you don't have to enter to menti.com.
Exactly.
So it's not obligatory. If you would like to, of course you can, but you can leave your answer here. So the question is, which of the following options are the best ways for you to process and learn new information? So you can vote for more than one. So what is for you the best way to connect with a topic? Think about your lectures in university, think about YouTube videos, think about TED Talks, think about political speeches, whatever. So which one you like, or think about a speech you like the most and had the biggest impact on your life, and think about it. How is that speech actually work? And why do you remember that speech? Why it had an impact on who you are right now? It can be your daddy or mom who gave that speech, okay? So it doesn't have to be a public figure or an expert or something like that. Okay, Ariadna says, I'd say personal anecdotes and questions that make you think. Okay, Carolina says questions that make you think and data. Personal anecdotes and questions that, okay, very good. Questions that makes me think, and data changes one's mind. Very good. Questions that make you think and scientific evidence. All right.
Okay.
Questions that make you think, questions that make you think, make me think, and analogies about topics that are familiar to me. So analogies, very good. So also analogies
You
here.
see how diverse we are, right? We all learn, like there's like this educational learning theories, and they talk about how differently people learn. For example, in my case, I'm really visual. I learn and I remember things if I see them with colors and graphics and maps. So that's my personal way of learning. And this is a great journey. This is to understand yourself better. In which way do I learn more? In which way do I get more impact from the things I see or I read? And as speakers, we need to take care of that, because I know that not everybody learns the same way I do. I'm really visual, but maybe other people are not. So I need to address my audience in a diverse way. I need to show data, I need to make questions, even though maybe I don't feel so comfortable about it. I train myself to start feeling comfortable when explaining, for example, data or scientific evidence. Because I know that part of my audience might be believing me more if I support myself with other things that are just my personal anecdotes or questions that, make you curious. So part of knowing your audience is making your speeches diverse and showing different kinds, like a wide range of tools, like data, like analogies, I love them, metaphors. So this is really important to bear in mind. How am I going to show my audience the topic with all this?
Can I use something to explain it a little bit? So I have an idea in mind, and I'm going to share it with you. It's a very simple idea. So I can use a personal anecdote, and I can say that in 2016, I gave a TED talk. And it was one of the best experiences of my life to give that TED talk. And actually, the preparation was something amazing, because we worked with voice coaches, with speech coaches, and with people who are really expert on this topic. And I learned a lot from them. And one of our trainers who trained us to go on stage and give the best presentations we can, actually, she did this. So we were separated in small groups of 6, all the presenters or speakers of that TEDx conference in 2016. So we were in 6 groups of 6 people, and we were actually preparing for this TED Talk. Every week we had a training. And what we had to do, so from the very beginning, of course, we started with working with psychologists, and then we went to work with coaches and trainers. And my trainer used a very interesting technique just to check if our presentation is ready or it is not ready. So I gave my speech, of course, the script, or I read it first. So when I haven't memorized it yet, so I just read it first. And then she asked the other 5 participants, okay, what is Peter's message? And if they said the same, that his message was that, and yeah, I think that was his message, and yeah, I can agree, that was his message, then my speech was ready. If the audience said that, no, his speech was that, no, I don't feel like that, I think he had another message for me, then that speech wasn't ready. So when it was for everybody had the same message, my speech, then it was ready. And this is something very important. So how can you point on a good speech? Then it has one message, but that message will have an impact on you probably, or it is important that you can stay with that message, with that idea. And message and idea in this case is exactly the same. So I can tell you a personal anecdote, or I can tell you, we asked, or we made a scientific research. And what we found out is that 90% of the people can remember a speech better if it has just one idea to emit. Can you see? So this is a completely different thing to do. Or questions that make you think. What do you think? What makes a good presentation? So maybe I can start so I can use this, then I go to my personal anecdote about my TEDx speech, then I put a scientific evidence with data, and then I give an analogy for you as well. Maybe, and this was just one idea to pass through, but you can use many things, and so the most tools you use, the stronger your speech will be. That's very important, and the stronger your argument will be. So that's why when you write a scientific paper, or if you prepared a thesis, so while you use more sources and different opinions in your thesis, then it is going to be a better thesis, because you can show many aspects of what you're talking about. So here, you don't have to show many aspects actually, but you have to put behind the idea many actually data and also different resources. So this is how it works. Very good. So it's not, I don't think data is important, but things that stick with me are the ones I can relate with. And this is something very important you are talking about, Ariadna. Don't be afraid to reveal your weaknesses. This is what that guy did when he was talking about the procrastination and his thesis. he revealed one of his biggest weaknesses. And you could relate with him. And you say, shit, I do exactly the same before all my scientific papers. Okay, please tell me more. So what do you have to tell me? I'm going to pay attention because I can see myself on the stage. So I can identify myself with the speaker. So that's something very important.
And that's really important to generate this empathy, emotions, feelings, to feel, to identify with the speaker. We want to create that because we're humans, even though we feel, oh my God, look at this person giving a TED talk, or oh, she's so smart, she's giving this academic, or she's leading this debate. They're people. We are all people. And, making us feel empathy is a really, really interesting tool. And actually, this leads us to our next and final topic, which is to get the balance between these two things, between analytical stuff, data, evidence, that a lot of people connect with that, and to get the other part, which is emotions, emotional aspects, feelings, because there's also a huge lot of people who connect with that part. So our speeches, as Peter was saying, they need to have a good balance between data and analytics, and on the other hand, also emotions and stories. That's how we can find and address everybody. You say, it's the more resources that you can get, the more people that you can reach. So.
Very good. So now we can see it. Analytic.
Add something?
Okay. Very good. So we have.
Want to add something about this?
Yes. Actually, yeah. No, it is. You can move on actually.
All right.
But you can look at this slides and think about it. So it depends on your topic. So what are you talking about? Okay. So that's very important. So what is your topic actually? So then you choose the resources. That's why we say that find the idea first and brainstorming. And we are going back to where we started. That's why brainstorming is so important. So if you have a topic, put down as many ideas as you can. So this is the best way to start. Put down and then think about it. Which is the best one? Which is very, very similar. So you can connect them. Maybe you can create one phrase from many, many ideas which can be connected to each other. So first create the idea, create that one phrase or two phrases, which actually can, that is the highest point of your presentation. Okay, and then maybe you can ask a question. So you can ask a provocative question. Then provocative question. Maybe then start your presentation in a very dramatic way. So, for example, I can go in medias res, which is one of the tools you have of storytelling, and I say, "Hey, my name is Peter, and I almost died 2 years ago." I'm like, what happened? Okay, so you are asking me, yeah, it's interesting. Okay, tell me what happened.
But the most important thing about this is the purpose, and what we were saying about the idea. If the idea is, you need to build upon and around your idea. So exactly. There you will see some tools that are useful for that, for make more impact, and some others that won't be. So you need to choose, take risks, and yes, and be guided by the idea.
Exactly. So, and also when you choose supports, for example, I think you can decide if you would like to use a PowerPoint presentation or not, or maybe Prezi is better, or without a presentation, is it better? So when I gave my TEDx talk, actually, I was thinking about to show some pictures. Then I thought, no, it's completely unnecessary. So I can use my words. And my presentation in my TED Talk was actually changing clothes on stage. Because I was talking about my exchange year in Argentina, and I put an analogy through Hungarian folk dances and Argentinian folk dances. And my analogy was with me, but it was on me on the stage, and it actually symbolically showed my transformation and my journey to the Argentinian culture, and how I could take off my Hungarian traditional clothes and put on the Argentinian traditional clothes, and how I started with a dance from Hungary, and how I finished it with a malambo from Argentina. But it's, so the analogy was that, and I didn't, so it wasn't necessary to put a PowerPoint, because the presentation, so I was the presentation, and my clothes was the presentation and the analogy. So this is something what you can keep in mind. So always use the best tools to show, actually, to create this aha moment in your public. So the aha moment is something very important. So this is what you are trying to create. Okay, so oh my God, there's data. Oh my, I didn't know that. I didn't know that mosquitoes were the deadliest animal in the world. That's crazy. Mosquitoes is still small like this.
That's why we need to find exactly the balance with everything, with all the resources. So I think this was a great morning. And now we can go to this question. We've been through a lot of topics. Yes, and
yes.
Now we would like to know.
Exactly. So just let's go through what we've done. So you connected to this Zoom session. Then we started with a Spanish introduction. Then we changed to English. Then we presented ourselves and the project. Then we started with a small icebreaker. If you remember, we asked you, where are you from? Where are you coming from? And we asked you also, how do you feel? Then it moved on, and we were talking about debates and how different debates can actually have an impact on us and how they work. And then we were talking about oratory or public speaking. What is the difference between debate and public speaking?
Yes.
We showed you 3 different speeches in 3 different contexts, with 3 different messages and ideas, but the connection between them were ideas. So the purpose to go on stage and talk and to share what you have in mind.
This idea of the tour, of the guide, that we are the people, you know, taking our audience. They follow us. So what we don't say, we don't show, they won't know it. So then also we talked about the preparation time. How much time do we need if we're going to speak a lot or a little? And then to conclude, we talked about the structure and the different tools that we have. We have emotions, we have analysis data or analysis evidence, and we have storytelling, and all of this thinking about the impact and the aim, the purpose, the idea that we want to pass on our audience, which is so important. And now we would like to know, what have you learned today? What are the ideas that are, you know, strolling around your mind? You can write in the chat so we can read it. And yes, I cannot see the chat, so maybe if one of you guys...
Yes, I'm reading it. So Imano says the fact that not only specific information is important, but also its combination with emotions. I think it's very, very good. Then Virginia says, the most interesting and important thing about oratory is how we say things to what we say. So how we say things. That's we are going to talk about this in 2 weeks in English, or in next week you can do it in Spanish, and in the other week in English. So the how you do it, connected to your voice and your body language. And today we were talking about the content parts. Okay, so but very, very good. So the power of speaking, Antonella says. That is very necessary to make make a balanced speech. Yes.
Very good.
Completely agree. And there's one thing we couldn't show you. There was one video we wanted to show you, but we didn't have enough time because PowerPoint has its own life. So I'm going to share this link with you. It's obligatory for everyone to watch this video. If you haven't seen it yet, please watch it. This is one of the best videos. Actually, I saw this video when I was preparing my TED Talk in one of the trainings, and it gave me an incredible tool to tell my story consciously. Sorry, I'm leaving it here to everyone right now. Yes. And then we have other messages. So I've learned how much change we can make with our voices and clear ideas. Oh, very good.
I love that one.
Ideas.
Yes.
Yes. Take risks was something that touched me. Okay, very good. Actually, yesterday I shared a video from an Argentinian guy with Danila. Danila, have you seen that video?
Yeah, it's really, really
Oh
moving.
my God. Guys, I'm leaving that video as well here. That's crazy. So that speech you will never forget in your life. And it's in Spanish, but everybody can watch it at home. And this is how you can actually make and take a big risk,
I'm really happy to hear all this and to hear, your curiosity. So feel free to contact either Peter or me, because we have some tools that might be useful for you, some videos, some suggestions, some recommendations. So yeah, I think what I have learned today is that there's a lot of young and like people in general that are interested in improving themselves, in improving their skills. And that for me is really, really valuable, because only, as I said before, only by knowledge we can, have a better and more solid ground to stand on and to speak. So I'm really proud of all of you guys for joining in this Saturday morning, to joining us and being part of this amazing opportunity. So I'm taking that with me. And
two more messages, sorry.
Yes.
I wasn't really aware of the impact of emotional speaking. I had always considered emotions a secondary topic during debates. Maybe debates, here is a difference. So yeah, emotions are not reasoning. So it is not reasoning. So telling that I am very angry or something like that, it's not, sometimes it's not good for debates, but you can play with it a little bit. So it's a sensible topic. We would need a lot more time to explain this to you and give you some pro tips, but so be careful with emotions while you're debating, because they can use it against you. Okay, that's something important. So Lujan says debate and oratory are connected because you need to catch the attention of the public and make a balance between emotions and data. I think this is very, very good as well. So I sent you 2 videos, and the thing I learned today is that simpler things like a chat in here is maybe a better tool to ask for your opinion that puts a very complicated Menti question on the screen. But thank you very much for understanding. And this is a big lesson to me today, because my PowerPoint abandoned me. I don't know what happened. Usually it is not happening, but today it happened. So in 2 weeks, we are going to think about it. And of course, we are going to prepare the presentation in a different way.
Thank you so much, Peter. Thank you so much, Daniela. We are so honored for being part of this process, of this enjoyable and passion and lovely opportunity to give young people the power of the communication and the message that communication works for those who work at it. So keep it practice, keep it learning, keep your mind open to your audience or the hearers or the voice, the power of your voice. So thank you so much. Have everyone a great morning, but please turn on your video for take a happy picture for today.